Who are the three officials the mayor of Tshwane laid corruption charges against? Why has the city of Tshwane declared war on wasteful expenditure? Is the new Tshwane mayor purging officials from the previous administration? How does Mayor Msimanga intend to address the current land invasions dilemma? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. When announcing the first cost-cutting measures of the new administration last week, the city of Tshwane Mayor Msimanga said, and I quote, "This new government in Tshwane has stopped the spending of exorbitant amounts on food and parties for politicians. We must serve the people, not party with public funds. My focus now is to assess the massive issues we have inherited in Tshwane, and there is no time to stop for lavish dinners and lunches," close quote. In a clear sign of intent, Mayor Msimanga laid criminal charges against three senior officials of the previous city administration at Tshwane's Brooklyn police station earlier today. But what are the new administration's key areas of focus? We are live, and therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial are on screen: 0891104210. Twitter handle @QuestionTime2. For my guest, Msimanga is the city of Tshwane mayor. Are you used to being called EM now?
I'm getting there. It's sinking now.
Okay.
I think the work had really kept me from really assessing what the position means, but how we get to serve our people and the responsibility that comes with serving our people is what is preoccupying my mind right now.
Okay, let's start with this. I don't know if I'm going to succeed, but I want you to tell us, who are these three people that you have opened corruption charges against at the Brooklyn police station?
One of the things that I'm not going to do, Mpho, is to allow a situation where the fingered officials or ex-officials are trialed by media or by the public. It needs to go its course, and I've said I'm not going to reveal names. Once the law, the correct authorities are satisfied that the case is ready for court, then their names will be made known.
But I mean, you know them. Okay, look, I promise you I won't ask any other question. Once you tell us the names, we move on to the good things.
No, remember, you're broadcasting this. Once you start mentioning names, it goes out there, and then now people will be tried by the media. People will be tried by public opinion.
How senior are they?
Very.
Are these people who are serving in the political office of the executive mayor?
Yes.
They were serving in the executive.
Well, they were serving in different capacities.
But political appointees.
Yes.
So, which means they are no longer working for the city now.
Well, I can tell you that one of them is actually finding themselves employed in another municipality.
Okay. Okay. You are not going to tell us the names?
No, you're not going to get names from me.
All right.
They will come out when it's time. Mm-hmm. I don't want to victimize people by putting them into a media court, if you like, or into a public court.
Okay.
The proper channels and the proper courts will preside over the matter, and their names, once the matter is ready for for the courts, will be made available and will be made known.
Is Putla safe
in this matter? In this matter is not mentioned.
Okay. Let's talk about the purging.
Yeah.
Are people who were working under Putla's administration safe?
I've said this in my very first address. I'm not in the business of purging people. Mm-hmm. I've said to the people, there's a program we need to deliver to our people. There's a job to be done. You get with the program, we are okay. You start using your political affiliation to disrupt the work of government, we're going to have problems. That's what I've said, and I'm very clear on that. I'm not about purging people. There are people that have employed to do a job, and if they do their job, then everybody's happy. We can get on with the program of saving our people. The moment people start to then do things that they're not supposed to be doing, that's when we have a problem. Because when people who are politically aligned starts to use the offices that is paid for by taxpayers' money to push a certain political agenda, then that's when we have a problem.
Okay. Let's look at what have been your priorities ever since you took office. I saw you returning cars just yesterday.
Let's clear that. We're not returning cars. We're diverting where the cars are going. The cars were procured by the previous administration, thinking and hoping that they're coming back. Again, it's cars that are, in my opinion, are not really necessarily needed by the executive. They can actually go towards a proper usage. Mind you, you cannot return those vehicles. The MFMA actually makes it impossible to return them, because then there's a finding against you if you do that. So what I've done is, in my priority to make our city safe, I've established a new unit in the Metro Police, and that's the anti-hijack unit. And I say those vehicles are very well suited for that. Okay. They're powerful vehicles. We can equip them in the right with the right apparatus to make sure that they do that job. And then that's where we're going to be channeling those vehicles to ensure that you and me, who are residents of Tshwane, will once and for all feel safe to drive our cars. But more than that, they will also be used by the narcotics unit. Okay. The narcotics unit, which is has been there but has never really done much. So we are saying now we are going to heighten the work that they're supposed to be doing.
Okay. You arrived at a time when the ANC was busy with certain things. Let's talk about this Wi-Fi story.
Right.
The contract has been in the news, almost R1 billion. It cost hundreds of millions to counsel. What is the story? Are people still getting free Wi-Fi in Tshwane?
People are still getting free Wi-Fi, and we will actually make it one of the basic services that our residents will get. Connectivity is everything now, Mpho. I mean, if you want to progress in any society, if you want to learn, if you want to communicate and connect with the rest of the world, connectivity is the best way, and Wi-Fi will be the best way of doing it. What we had issues with, and I've said this even when I was campaigning, is the amount of money that is spent on this contract, and it's how this contract was actually put together, and that's what we're having a problem with. Okay. So we are saying, we need to look at how this contract was formulated. B, how it was awarded. 3, what are the cost implications up to now, and how do we take it forward? Okay. But lastly,
so how much is free costing?
No. Look, I mean, what we are currently spending money on is not what actually can be given to our people. Okay. So what we are saying is that we need to have a wider coverage. We need to have a speedy service that should be given to our people. But over and above that, it needs to be very cost effective. And there are ways and means of making it cheap for us, or even free, because there are the mechanisms where you can even generate an income using the service.
Okay. Ayanda, you're in Durban.
Mpho, how are you, sir?
I'm well. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, Mpho, and good evening to your guest, to the mayor there. Yes. Just a quick question to Mr. Soli there.
Yes.
Is that, firstly, I just want to ask, when the ANC came in power in 1994, they made these promises, and they were doing exactly as what Mr. Soli is doing. And my question is based on what is he going to do to ensure that whatever that he has started, I believe this is a good work that he has began with, and what is he going to do to ensure that he keeps this track for the next 5 years, and he continue to do well and for the people? And what is he going to do in particular in the city to ensure that there's a creation of employment for, in particular, young people, and they also alleviate crime, and as they've articulated earlier about the anti-hijack unit on those issues? Okay,
Ayanda, thanks very much for the call.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ayanda. One of the things that we're doing very, very differently is to make sure that our senior officials start off by signing performance agreements. Gone are the days, or will be the days, where projects go over time. There's over expenditure on projects, and nobody gets to be held accountable. Gone are those days, and this is the beginning of getting good governance in place. So what we are saying is that let's ensure that you can hold people to account. It's unacceptable that a project like the project of the Giant Stadium, as an example, in Soshanguve, a giant stadium that was supposed to have been built under 200 million, is 12 years late, cost 500 million, and it's only quarter built, and nobody's ever even been held to account. You move away from that, there is RDP houses that are built in Winterveld. More than 400 units are built, and now they've been vandalized because they've been built halfway. People are now helping themselves to the doors, to the frames of the windows and all of that, because the contractor, was paid in full for a job half done, and no official has ever been wrapped around the knuckles for doing what has been done. So we are saying, going forward, we are going to ensure that things like this never happen in our city. And we are hoping that in doing that, we can make an example in Tshwane that can actually spread out to the rest of the country of what good governance can be all about.
Land grabs.
Yes, the issue of land grabs. These are issues that are politically motivated. Let's not hide behind anything here. The way they're coordinated between the areas. The information, how it's spread. When people are told you need to be in this particular time or in this particular place in this particular time, so that you can, all move in at the same time. Trying to dilute the forces that we have to try and keep people out. That is something that we're having a problem with. And we are engaging with our communities right now. And I'm glad that communities are starting to see what it is that we're trying to do. We've said to the communities, it's difficult, if not impossible, to formalize services in an informal settlement that is currently existing, because people built so close to each other that you cannot do anything. You can't put roads there. You can't put infrastructure like storage pipes, electrical pipes. You can't do that. So what we want to do, and this is something that we are starting to do, is to identify a piece of land close to where the people find themselves. Develop that piece of land. Develop, meaning you put roads there, you put a storage system there, you put fresh water supply, you put electricity there, and then you demarcate that area in a way that it also create a space for businesses, for a clinic to be a part of the demarcation. Okay. But also, when you start moving people from these informal settlements into these developed pieces of land, you are able to then give them title deeds as well. We might not be in the immediate be able to build them houses, but at least you know that you will have a piece of land that has water, that has electricity, and you're getting a title deed and a flushing toilet. But over and above that, once you start doing that, it frees up this other land that people were occupying. Therefore, it has a domino effect. So we've now taken people from this piece of land that was not developed. We've put them in this piece of land that is developed. Okay. You can now develop this piece of land and move the next group into this piece of land. So people occupying land illegally makes our job a whole lot difficult, makes delivery to grind to a halt.
Okay. Itumeleng.
Thank you, Mpho.
You are in Tshwane. Here is your mayor.
Yeah, that is my mayor, Mpho, and I'm very much proud of him.
Okay.
Mpho, there's one thing that Soli must do. He must get the tenders right. The PMFA must be followed to the letter. That is one thing. He can do many. He can say many things and do many things like that. The heartbeat of South Africa, or the heartbeat of everything, is these tenders. We have a problem of tenders. Department of Public Works used to have this word: when public works, South Africa works. Because of the street, everything depends on supply chain and procurement. And I wish him luck. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Itumeleng. Well,
Thanks, Itumeleng. You'll be proud to know that we've already started engaging with doing away with certain things that are tendered out or are contracted out. We are trying to look at mechanisms in order to have a brochure of things that we are buying, so that you don't have a situation like you had that was broadcasted a while ago of shoe polishes bought at 30 rands and going on like that. So we are putting we are compiling a comprehensive price list or a guideline of things that we will not be paying anything over this. And so we are doing it to ensure that going forward we can cap the money that is being spent on certain things. That's number one. Number two, today I had a meeting with a number of stakeholders trying to investigate how do we stop this issue of contracting out certain things. Is it cheaper? Is it viable to employ certain people with permanently in the system to ensure that you can effect speedy services or delivery of services to your people, number one. But you can also cut on some of this outsourcing that is happening. Okay. So those are things that we are investigating, and when the time is right, we'll make the announcement.
Isaac, you're in Burgersfort.
Yes, Mpho.
Welcome.
Can I please pose a question to the mayor there?
Yes, he's listening.
Mr. Mayor, I can see you are very much radical. So I've got a very simple question on behalf of the poor and the landless masses of our people. It is a very well-known fact that the people of Mamelodi were striking last year, striking for the land, because we know what is happening in Tshwane, that the people are bearing other people on top of each other. So are you going to give the people of Mamelodi a land without paying a cent to the people that are currently owning that land?
Okay, Isaac, thanks for the question.
I didn't get the last part.
Isaac, are you still there? Okay, Isaac is gone.
Are we going to give land that we don't owe?
No. Are you going to give land to the people, basically?
Yes, that's what we are saying. Look, Mpho, there's no need, and this is something that we want our public to know. If somebody comes to you and say you must buy a piece of land, government piece of land, it's an illegal act. Government is not in the business of selling land to the residents. Government is in the business of ensuring that we provide
But
services.
you know who are the people occupying that land?
Well, there's investigations that are happening.
Well, you don't have to investigate. You know the EFF is leading that mzabalazo.
No, actually, funny enough, I had a chat with the leaders of the EFF in Tshwane, and they are saying they are not part of this at the moment. They have been doing it before, they admit.
Okay.
But in this instance, because of the plan that I've told them, they said they're not part of this.
Okay. Now, the issue of name changes.
Yes.
Where do you stand?
Well, the court needs to run their courses. This is a matter that is in front of courts. We are saying that, in my personal view, you don't have to wipe somebody's history to tell your own, because your own history then becomes half-told.
But where are you going to tell it?
Well, no, get to what I'm saying. The issue of changing of names is something that it's fine, it's welcome, it's within the Constitution. But then you don't wipe everything in order to tell your own. We need to find a balance of telling a balanced view of history. To say, we can have a street called Mpho, we can have a street called Msimanga. Therefore, we are telling a complete story, not telling a half-baked story. And which is something that happened in the previous dispensation. I mean, you never had a Sobukwe street, which was telling only half of the story. So I agree with the sentiments of saying, let us tell another side of the story, but let's not make the mistake of telling another one half side of the story and trying to wipe another. Okay. Because in the future, our children will only learn the other half and not know what real history we come from and what it meant to us as a people.
Your homeboy is on the line here. Peter? Hey, Pelinda, what's happening? Peter? Oh, Peter is gone. Well, I don't know what's wrong with the phones there in Atteridgeville.
Maybe the cables have been stolen. Maybe the cables have been stolen. Just the joke.
It's your hometown. And by the way, Attridgeville, today we know that they are hosting a memorial service of one of the stalwart sons of the soil. Let's just talk quickly about
that we fondly know him as Let Them Dance.
Yes.
And that's how I would like to remember him. I mean, I knew him not as a politician to start. I knew him as one of the brightest soccer players that came proudly from Kasiak, from Pretoria Kelly's days. As a young person, I mean, you heard of the stories, and I come from an avid Pretoria Kelly's family.
Okay.
So that's how we got to learn of him, and then his contributions later on, his involvement in the community. That was something that was put to us, and I think it's a great loss, not only to the community of Attridgeville, but to the broader society of Tshwane, because he was actually involved in a number of initiatives around the city as well.
Of course, we're talking here of the late Nkosi Patrick Mulala, an activist, a political activist from Attridgeville, where Soli comes from. I guess there's a history behind Attridgeville. There's the Masemulas of this world, the Msenekes of this world, that emerge from that part. And you are joining that list, I guess.
Look, I mean, Tshwane has a very rich history. If you go to Mamelodi, there are people that are coming from there that are in the political space as well, or had been in the political space as well. But I think maybe the conscience that is coming out of Attridgeville, and how Attridgeville has been so politicized, and the growing up there and experiencing and seeing the politics that were playing themselves out. I must say that I had been shielded from politics until when I decided to really take up the challenge, and then get involved. But I must say I'm very proud of where I come from. But I must say to our citizens, service delivery is not going to happen only in Attridgeville. The people of Tshwane will, in general, experience service delivery.
Nelson, you're in Pretoria West, very quickly.
Yes, thank you, Mpho. How are you, my mayor?
I'm very well. How are you, Baba?
Thank you, sir. Mayor, I just want you to look into one point with regard to our Metro Corps, Metro Police, or Tshwane Metro. You see, there's intersections where there's outsurance members controlling traffic when the traffic lights are off, and if there is stop signs and there's too much convoys or traffic. I see our Metro Corps standing around, hands in their pockets, doing nothing, and those guys of outsurance doing the work. So I feel like here, as taxpayers who have been robbed by these guys, some of them, I won't say all of them, some just standing around doing nothing. So if you can look into that matter, sir.
Okay, thanks very much, Nelson.
All right.
Thank you very much, Nelson. You would remember one of the things that I was campaigning around was the issue of safety of our people, and how Metropolis should actually be used as policemen and women, and not just fundraisers for the city. Because right now you find them hiding under bushes, you're finding them with behind bushes under bridges with speed cameras. So what we are saying is we now introducing a system where they actually to do what policemen and women are supposed to be doing. That is patrolling our streets, making sure that you and me are safe. That is fighting crime and preventing crime, and that is also to make sure that our properties are actually safe. Over and above that, to also help with the free flow of traffic. Okay. Not to say that we are now going to let speedsters get away with lawlessness in our city, but we're saying the priorities needs to be relooked at.
Our Twitter page there, let's just quickly look. Sibulele Makini, Soli is a principled man with a plan and action to turn things around. He's the kind of leader South Africa needs and deserves. Well, a big up to you there. Nomatemba Matuse, I'm happy for our new mayor of Tshwane fighting corruption. We have been in hunger for a long time, and let them rot in jail. Whoa, okay. Shoti Signolo says, I commend, I think he wants, Shoti wants to say I commend Mr. Mayor mayor for the great job he's doing so far. As EFF members, we are happy we didn't throw our votes into the river. Okay, Shoti Signolo there. And unfortunately, we have run out of time. But Soli, we wish you all the best, and we definitely will keep you on check. If there's anything, please take our calls.
No, thank you very much, Mpho. I have said, and I'll continue to say, if there's anything that we cannot do, we will say we cannot do. Where we fail, we'll take advice, but where we succeed, we'll also say these are our successes.
Soli Msimanga. That was question time for today. A big thank you from me and the crew. Have a hot.